living condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. I'm sorry, we're past the morning wake-up call. Okay, but thank you all for tuning in. Please do yourselves and me a favor and double check to make sure you're still subscribed, especially if you have not been receiving the notifications. Okay, so hit the like and share button. Thank you in advance. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, hello 504 NOLA. Michael is in the virtual building. Soul Sister is here. Cherokee Descendant Dale Claudette. All right, let's get into it. Just anticipate Terry Hinton. All right, so shout out to all my loyal roads and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, we the people. Okay, and shout out to 504 NOLA, Anita Harrell, Cookie. Okay, and so also, hey Mel, a shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Okay, so before we get started, I see you, Hadassah. Before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so with that all been said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And she sells beard oil as well. And don't forget, Christmas is coming. Okay, so if you know anyone that needs beard oil or who wears natural hair, those are the perfect gifts. Okay, so with that all been said, let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about. First of all, I just want to let you all know that I am feeling really sad this morning, and I didn't say bad, but I'm feeling really sad. Right after I got off of my live yesterday, Armand Wiggins reached out to me to let me know that our dear friend James R. Sanders, who has been on my broadcast when I was covering the Diddy trial, okay, James passed away. And that was just a whole lot for me because I was already, not feeling so great. I started feeling better. And then, we already lost Silent D uh just not long ago. And so now James has passed away sadly. So anyway, with that all being said, if everybody could just give condolences to his family, friends, and loved ones, okay, including myself. And then also, hey Byron B, beloved. And then also, today is the day that Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were assassinated in Chicago 55 years ago today. And that's a picture of me and James and my friend our friend Sherlon and LaJanae when we were in New York outside of the courthouse. So anyway, let's continue because I don't want to get all sad, but or any more sad than I already am. So with that all being said, now let's talk for a second about Fred Hampton. He and Mark Clark. I mean, it's really interesting. It's been 55 years, and we have not gotten any further ahead in the fight for liberation, freedom, okay, reparations. We've not gotten anywhere as far as I'm concerned. It just seems to me like a bunch of Black revolutionaries from back in the day gave their lives, their freedoms, their time and everything, just a whole lot. And for us to just let them down because we have not moved the needle an inch. Okay. And in fact, it seems like some of us have reversed course. Thank you all for your condolences. I appreciate you all, beloved. Okay, so anyway, like I said, Fred Hampton and Mark Clark, they were assassinated. And this was because the FBI and the Chicago police viewed Fred Hampton, who was the leader of the Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party for self-defense, but they viewed him as a threat and a revolutionary leader. The FBI, under its COINTELPRO program, infiltrated the Black Panther Party and identified Hampton as a radical figure that needed to be neutralized, which of course led to a police raid on his apartment where he was shot and killed as he slept in the bed. And they told lies for decades, acting as though that he fired on them and all of that. But if you looked at the crime scene, it was clear to see that that man had to have been lying down in his bed when they started shooting. And then later it was alleged that not only did they just come in there and ambush him while he was in bed asleep with his pregnant wife, mind you, but also that he had been given a sedative to put him into a very deep sleep so they didn't have to worry about him awaking as they entered the dwelling. So very sad. Okay. And that's your government. That's why I always say that any Black people who feel like you need to believe and trust in this nefarious government, well, you should really get your head examined. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So anyway, let's continue. So the good news, Holly Johnson has been charged in the murder of Ramika Meeks. Okay, or Ramika Meeks Blackman. She has been charged, and I told you all that she would. They were doing all this extra stuff and just trying to put people out here to speak on them. And by them, I mean her and Carlos. And Carlos should have been arrested too. Sadly, he won't. But I did tell you all that she was going to be arrested and that it takes time. They have to conduct investigations, have to gather up evidence and all of that. And, as I told you also, Holly played her cards. She played her cards well, going and filing those, fraudulent restraining orders because I don't think Ramika was ever threatening her. Okay, people have said that Amika never even talked to her in person, only until that day, and then only before that on the phone. And it was obvious to me that I'm not going to say she was a stalker, but she was absolutely obsessed with Ramika, in my opinion, dancing like her on videos, or at least trying to, because she clearly had no rhythm. And then also trying to dress like her. It was just all just cringe. Taking the same type of birthday pictures. And then for Thanksgiving, her and Carlos dressed alike, which was also something that Ramika would do with Carlos. So I wouldn't just want to be, it seemed like she almost wanted to swap destinies with Romika. For those of you that follow the spiritual channel, you know we've talked about that. But anyway, she has been charged with first-degree murder. Okay? Just like I said. And then people sitting up here talking about, oh, I saw somebody who did a video. I didn't even watch it, but I saw the caption said that she was being persecuted for defending herself. And then they said something about along the lines of when self-defense becomes a witch hunt, which I thought was interesting. But I hope they know with these charges of first-degree murder, that should let everybody know that it absolutely was not self-defense. It was way more than that, okay? And if it hadn't been anything similar to self-defense, maybe she would have only been charged with voluntary manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter or something along those lines. But they hit her with first degree. What does that tell you? It tells you just what I said, that it was premeditated. That's what it tells you. Okay, that's what it tells you, that it was all premeditated. This lady's a whole weirdo. And I hope she gets exactly what's coming to her. And let's not get ahead of ourselves, because I see some people saying, oh, justice and this and that. It's not justice until she's convicted. Okay? It's not justice until she's convicted. Okay? This is just the first step towards that. Okay? So anyway, with that all being said, let's go to what they're saying online. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. People were tripping out because her mugshot was recently released. I'm going to go to Carlos's page. He posted some pictures, and then he was trying to fake like he wasn't happy or whatever, talking about I post this stuff. I post because I smile because here it is right here. He says, I smile to hide my pain, not because I'm happy. Well, you're going to be a whole lot unhappier when Holly gets convicted, to tell you that much. Okay. Here's some pictures and videos he posted. This was like right after Thanksgiving, it looks like. Okay, living life like it's golden. I guess they thought they were not going to get consequences. Now, what's interesting is that the day before Holly got arrested or got charged, whatever, the day before that, she had posted a caption. She had posted a caption about her and Carlos and how they were dressed alike and trying to imply that people were hating on them. Okay, and saying, of course, that's my man. Of course, we're going to dress alike or something like that. But bottom line is people were going in on her for trying to copy everything that Romika ever did.
More than thankful. Deja, Holly, Johnson, first-degree murder charges. When I advise you, be patient, I mean it, because I have advised y'all before, I'm accurate. So we are finally at the time of justice being served. It's not served, it's just starting. And they did go ahead and charge her with first-degree murder. And I saw a post that she had made, because they thought he could come back to social media. And she's talking about, well, families dress alike for Thanksgiving. I am more than thankful that you had the opportunity to spend the last holiday with your child. I am very glad that dressing alike was of the most importance. When I said, make sure you spend the time with your child before you go in, I meant it. I am very thankful that Romika Nix Blackman is getting the justice she deserves. It's not another charge. It is first degree.
Our new family, the internet cousins, yeah, we still riding. We still riding. I don't know what is going on with her auntie, but she got a little happy, okay? She got happy because it was the weekend. People got busy. Nobody was really making videos. So the auntie came out telling people, do not entertain Key's podcast on YouTube. Because baby, Key's been dropping receipts. Oh, look, it's a black butterfly. I wish y'all could see it. That just came next to me. Baby, Key's been dropping the receipts. he's been dropping it, including the one with the bloody shoes. Like, hello, what the fuck is going on? So yeah, she said, don't entertain it. The story has already died down. Not from my understanding, because baby, I still see Romika all down my For You page. I don't know what she's talking about.
I really don't know why they came back to social media. That was just not smart. I guess they wanted to post their Thanksgiving pics and whatnot. Mm, mm, mm. Hold on, I'm looking for that post that she put up. Here it is right here.
First-degree murder after months of waiting.
Okay, I'm going to read. This is her post on this lady's video, so I'm going to read it. This is what Holly wrote. Okay, she says, "We are a family. Duh. We gonna be dressed alike on holidays." Girl, shut your stupid self up. Now she wants to frame it as though just because people are in a relationship or a family, they all dress alike on holidays. I mean, who does that? Everybody's not around here doing that. It's not something that's just commonplace. That's just not something that's usually a thing. Okay, you got that from Ramika. Sit down somewhere. Then she goes on to say, "What family don't? Plenty. Now, if I post our Thanksgiving pictures and Christmas pictures and they're so cute, y'all gonna be blowing fire out y'all nose. It's 100 more holidays ahead. We will be dressed alike. Just leave us alone. Focus on something else. Y'all weird as F in reaching. Let go and let God. Thank you." Woo, honey, said the lady who's sitting in jail. Okay, did she bail out yet? Girl, please don't try to go in on us. Okay, because honey, you're gonna be spending a whole lot of holidays behind bars. Okay, that's what you're gonna be doing. I'm putting it in the universe, honey. You will not beat these charges.
She unalived Romika Johnson in Chicago after Romika dropped her son off at school. That was in September. We're now in December, and today, officially as of today, she was finally charged with first-degree unaliving. Now, Thanksgiving came, her and Carlos, they was all cute. They was posted up. She was posting her little pictures, her little happy Thanksgiving, my son first Thanksgiving. They had on matching outfits, y'all. Carlos had the little matching outfit. This was Thanksgiving. Had the matching little outfit, or they was acting all super duper cute. And then she came and she fucking put up that little Facebook post. I heard that was yesterday. And here it is. See, that's why you don't play. You came on Facebook being nasty yesterday, and look at you, charged with that unaliving today. See, you don't play with the chosen ones.
Okay, imagine talking all that trash online and then bam, the next day you get hit with first-degree murder. Okay, murder is the case that they gave her. All right, girl, you are going down. I hope she did enjoy Thanksgiving, honey, because your Christmas is not going to be a white one, baby. I promise you that. Okay, it's not going to be good. Honey, how can you enjoy Christmas when you know what you're facing? Okay, when you know that the gavel is going to drop. Okay, please pay attention. And so, anyway, I'm just glad that she has been charged officially. Now, with that all been said, let's go to a news report. Suspect charged months after shooting death of mother, according to prosecutors. This is a report from Fox 32. Okay, here we go.
I'm Tia Ewing with an update on a fatal shooting that happened back in September in the South Loop. Quadesia Johnson is now charged with first-degree murder in the death of 31-year-old Romika Blackman. We got the call from the Cook County State's attorney on this. Family confirmed for us the two women shared children with the same man. He was also at the scene when the shooting took place. Johnson was taken into custody that day, but released shortly afterwards. The case drew national attention because Blackman was killed just moments after dropping her 6-year-old son off at school. Investigators say a fight broke out near Cermak and State before Blackman was shot. Her family questioned why charges weren't filed earlier. Records show Johnson had filed multiple protective orders against Blackman over the past year. Johnson is scheduled to appear in court Thursday at 11 in the morning. We'll continue to follow this case and bring you any new updates.
All right. So there it is. Now, with that all being said, listen, let's talk about Burna Boy. Okay, so you all remember the story that I told you all about yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. Pretty sure it was. The story about the shooting at the birthday or at the party for the children. Okay, where 4 people lost their lives, 3 of them children, and then numerous other people injured. Well, guess who said they're going to pay for funerals, honey? Guess who offered and volunteered to come out with the coins? None other than Burna Boy. I find it all interesting because Burna Boy, in my opinion, now this is a very generous offer. Let's be clear. But Burna Boy, are your intentions authentic? Or is this just his way of trying to get back in the good graces of his fans who flipped on him when he kicked that lady out of the concert? Y'all heard about that? Put a 1 in the chat if you heard about that story where Burna Boy kicked a fan out of the concert. 1's in the chat. Okay, because this sounds, that's right, DJ Big 66, clout chasing. You already know. Okay, you already know. Exactly. All right, he needs to sit down somewhere, honey, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. First, we're going to go to the footage where the mother of the mother who hosted the party, this poor woman felt like she had to come out and apologize. She did nothing wrong. All she did was try to have, somewhere for the kids to come and enjoy themselves. But nonetheless, it turned into a tragedy. And I hope the culprits who did this get exactly what's coming to them. Because it was absolutely so egregious to come there. I mean, just to come to a party where there's children and this is how you behave. Here we go.
Say is that I'm sorry to all the mothers and children out there. If I could do anything to prevent this, I would. I threw a birthday party for my little daughter. She actually turned 2, and I just wanted all my family to come together, and an incident happened. Everybody's getting together around and just start cutting the cake, and all we heard was gunshots, and everybody just fell to the ground. It was just unexpected. I don't even know what was going on. Everybody was inside. It was just a misunderstanding. I actually thought it was my balloons popping. It was gunshots. I don't know what happened. I'm lost of words. I'm speechless. And I just want to say I'm sorry to all the mothers out there that lost their kids. And this is why it's really hurting me, because I see youth all day. I see kids all day. I'm a mother of 3. So for me to see kids on the floor and just bleeding and I can't help them, and I help people that I help the youth at my job, it was hurting me not to help them on the floor. Try not to be in public all the time with your kids, because anything can happen and bullet does not have a name. I believe that if you guys ever have a birthday party, just have a birthday party indoors. All I can say is that I'm sorry.
Violence erupting at a child's birthday party in Stockton as a mass shooting leaves 4 dead and 10 injured tonight. The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office leading the investigation, with the FBI now responding. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Action News Live at 11. I'm Christina Lopez. We begin with that breaking news story. Reporter Vince Ibarra joins us from the live desk with the latest developments on this deadly attack. Vince?
Well, Christina, this is still an active investigation, and there are several questions still unanswered, but the details that are coming in are chilling as they continue to search for a suspect. The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office says there was a large family gathering at a banquet hall when shots were fired. This video is from the crime scene in that shopping area. The Sheriff's Office says they received calls of a shooting on Lucille Avenue near Thornton Road in Stockton a little before 6 this evening. That's when deputies discovered several victims. 4 died from their injuries and 10 others are being treated in the hospital. Their conditions have not been released.
Violence erupting at a child's birthday party in Stockton as a mass shooting leaves 4 dead and 10 injured tonight. The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office leading the investigation, with the FBI now responding. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Action News Live at 11. I'm Christina Lopez. We begin with that breaking news story. Reporter Vince Ibarra joins us from the live desk with the...
Okay, so now let's talk about Burna Boy and how he plays into all this. That was just an update, not an update, but that was just a brief for anybody who may have missed that broadcast. Okay, so now with that being said, let's get into it. Burna Boy covering funeral cost for Stockton shooting victims killed at 2-year-old's birthday party. It's a darn shame at a 2-year-old's birthday party. Okay, so Burna Boy had his emotions spiked after hearing about the mass shooting that destroyed a 2-year-old's birthday party last week in Stockton, California. And he's stepping up to foot the bill for all 4 of the deceased victims. Now, the Afrobeats giant says that he's taking in the story from the Breakfast Club and immediately reached out to WAC 100, who in turn connected him with Hollywood Unlocks Jason Lee. You see, Jason Lee is the vice mayor of his hometown of Stockton. Okay, I didn't know Jason won that election, but shout out to Jason Lee. Okay, so anyway, I'm sorry, but Burna Boy, we know what you're up to. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this video. It's just a brief clip of Jason Lee speaking to the people.
It's never been gangster to kill kids. Never. It's never been gangster to kill kids. You went in a birthday party and shot people's children. So I know we're here. We want just, if I could just, parents brought their children out and they left with medical examiners. That is not human. That is not human. And I will say to those who are thinking of retaliation, when my brother got murdered, I thought about it too. It's human to want to hurt people who hurt people you love. But I had a choice to make, and I hope that the people out there in our community make the right choice and contact law enforcement, call me, call the mayor, call whoever you know, call the pastors, call your friend, turn yourself in. Because at some point, the redemption for what you did is going to happen when you see the person that created you. But you can start that process by turning yourself in and doing the right thing today.
All right. Well, they're clearly not going to turn themselves in. I can pretty much guarantee you that. Okay, that's what they're not going to do. All right, they're not going to turn themselves in. But anywho, so Burna Boy says he's footing the bill. He says he's footing the bill for the 4 victims. Like I said, that's a generous gesture, but I just don't think that it's just being done because he's such a good person or anything like that. I think that he just wants to get back in the good graces of people that basically, have fallen out with him because of his nefarious actions. Okay, because here's the thing. When you think about the fact that that woman was in there and she was asleep, y'all do know that Burna Boy came hours late, right? Burna Boy came hours late to his own concert. The lady probably had worked all day and was tired. She did say she had some other things going on as well. Her child's father had just passed away recently. She was stressed out and going through it because of that. She had other things going on, as we often do. And with that all being said, she was probably mentally drained rather than him being so rude. And here's the thing, she paid for her ticket. So even if she chose to sleep, he made. Okay, why is he mad? Hey, DSB beloved. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for your kind words. Shalom to you. And thanks for being a member for 16 months. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, I just find it also interesting at the end of the day. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, let's go to the next video.
That Burna Boy chased out of his concert because she was sleeping came out to say that she's been battling depression ever since the father of her daughter passed away. And this is one of the things that people were saying. What if she had a long work day? What if she was tired? What if she wasn't feeling the best? He didn't even care to make any inquiry or be like, what's going on with you? Like, what's going on over there? It's more about his pride and his ego. So the lady by the name of Chaltu says, I am the girl that was kicked out of the show last night. I don't even know where to begin, but that was very embarrassing and humiliating to myself and my boyfriend. Burna Boy could have handled that situation better than that. He had no idea what was going on with me, and he didn't even care to ask if I was okay. I have been mentally, physically, and emotionally drained since my daughter's dad passed away, and I came to his show to put a smile on my face after everything that has happened. He took forever to come out, and I was tired. We paid to be there, and if I wanted to close my eyes and sleep, I can do that. It's my money that I wasted, not his. And for all of you in the comment section being nasty, how about showing kindness, because you never know what someone else is going through? She put it really well. Plain and simple. Burna Boy has a culture of embarrassing his fans anyway. It's a humiliation ritual to even go to a concert at this point. I know there's going to be a small percentage, well, I hope small percentage of slow Nigerians in my comment section who are used to oppression. So they're going to be, in support of his bad behavior. Nonetheless, wishing her love, light, and healing. I know what it's like to grieve, and it's never easy.
That's right. And that lady was still grieving, clearly, and she wanted to get out and have a good time so she could take her mind off of it. Okay, people do grieve in different ways because a good friend of mine, who was also good friends with James, said that she was not going to be able to go to work today. When we were talking last night, she said she wouldn't be able to go to work today. And I told her that I have to go to work today. I cannot just sit at home just thinking about this, and just think about what could have been and just times we all had and all this. Now, I can't do it. Okay? I can't do it. I have to take my mind off of things. And that's what that lady was likely trying to do. Burna Boy is just the devil, as far as I'm concerned, because, not only that, didn't he say that he didn't want broke fans? And I'm like, first of all, sir, why would you even care if your fans are broke? Like, why or would you need to count their pockets? If they bought tickets to your concerts, do you really have to concern yourself with how much money they have or don't have? Okay, but that's what they're saying that he said. He said he don't want no broke fans. Okay, not that he called his fans broke. Did he call them dusty too? Because when you're broke, you're always dusty, aren't you?
So this Burna Boy situation, in case you don't know, recently, about a week and a half ago, Burna Boy was having a concert in Colorado, I believe. There was this woman and her boyfriend sitting in the front row, and I believe the woman was sleeping. Burna Boy stopped the show and said, yo, if she gonna be sleeping, y'all need to leave. I'm not moving forward with this show until both of y'all get out of here. Y'all should not be sleeping at my show. You feel me? That woman then took to the internet and talked about how she's been depressed because her baby father passed away, and how the whole show situation made her even more depressed, and it's been hard to cope. And she felt like Burna Boy could have asked her if she was okay or something, but instead he embarrassed her in front of thousands of people. Fast forward to this week, Burna Boy has started canceling some of his shows on the American leg of his tour, right? Now there's been videos over the last week or so since that incident took place of people recording the Burna Boy shows and showing that there's been a bunch of empty seats at these shows, this, that, and the third. And what happened after that whole incident was he was backstage on his bus or whatever, and they were recording him and were on live, his friends, and he was saying that he don't want no broke fans showing up to his shows. And that caused a lot of uproar and ruckus of, calling your fans broke, essentially. Now we're in this weird situation where you're canceling tour dates, people are recording empty venues, this, that, and the third. And people are trying to correlate it to the whole situation of him kicking the girl out, calling your fans broke, and then now people aren't showing up to your shows. Now, I don't think that this is happening because of that one incident. You feel me? I don't think that's the case at all. While I do believe both of these things are bad PR, I just don't think that this was the time to put an American leg of the tour in for Burna Boy. Burna Boy is an international artist based in Nigeria, Lagos, right? Burna Boy had a really big hit with Last, which is 4 or 5 years ago. And then he had some other moments. I think that City Boy song, or is it Big City, came out in 2023. But since then, he didn't really have a lot of shit that made noise or made big splashes here in the States. And then he dropped his project earlier this year. But again, none of those songs really made big splashes here in the States. I don't think it really made sense for him to come back and try to do arenas here in the States. Because Burna Boy is far from a one-hit wonder. He has hits. He was just featured on Gunna's WGFT. That song was doing numbers, doing big. I liked his verse on that track. But for international artists to do arenas here, you have to have like big splashes or big moments or a big core fan base here. And I don't think he necessarily has. I think he has a big fan base here, but not like arena tour level. You feel me? Especially with the core of his fan base being a minority here in the States anyway. You feel me? Like there's a big Latin population here in the States. So like Bad Bunny can come here at any point and do stadiums because he's the biggest global Latin superstar right now. You feel me? Or K-pop as well. There's a big Asian population. K-pop groups can come here. You feel me? But for like that Nigerian audience, it's a little bit smaller. And then like your casual like black fans love Burna Boy, but are they spending money to buy tickets? You know, this, that, and the third. That's what I would think about if I.
I'm sorry, but that's so ridiculous, okay? Just talking trash about your fans is dirty work. Okay, I'm just saying that is dirty work. Okay, he clearly tried it and now trying to sit here and get in good. Okay, trying to get in good, talking about he's about to pay for funerals. Sir, please go ahead and pay for those funerals. That doesn't mean anybody's going to come to your concerts that's already made up their mind that you're nefarious and too arrogant for words. Okay? Buckhorse DC said he burnt himself out. Bomb squad. Okay, clearly. All right, so let's continue because in other news, let's talk about Iman. Honey, did y'all hear? We're going to quit gossiping in a minute. We're going to quit gossiping in a minute. But before we do, we got to talk about Iman and then Tamar with Funky Daniva spilling all the tea. Okay, then we got to get back on Trump real quick. Okay, so anyway, hold on. Let me go to the footage, honey, because Iman Shumpert, you know how you say his name? Tiana Taylor's ex. Ooh, honey, he's just spiraling downhill. Okay, mess with all these no good women, and then the woman over there starting mess and all kind of stuff, and he's starting mess. You know, Tiana, she really should be so glad that she got out of this relationship with him because people like him, they very seldom change. You know when Iman's probably going to change and for the better, if ever, will be when he's about 55 years old and realizes that his days of running and playing the field are over. Okay? And nobody's checking for you. Okay? That's how that's going to turn out. Nobody's checking for you, dude. Meantime, between time, he's still going to have all of this drama. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Police call to your house. How embarrassing.
So the grounds of putting your hands on someone or whatever, that's unlawful.
The initial story that you told me was you were banging on the door trying to get in the room and you made your way into the room.
No, he opened the door.
Or he opened the door and he removed you from the room. You told me you were aggressive going into the room.
No, I wasn't aggressive. I was on the phone when I was going to the room. I went into the room, he opened the door. I went inside, we were talking.
That's not what you initially told me. You said that he had another girl in the room and
ask her. I went into the room, I was talking. Okay. I did not hit him. Never did I ever.
I never said you hit him.
Okay, so where is the aggressiveness coming from?
I never said aggressive doesn't mean you hit him.
So you said I was aggressive.
That doesn't mean you hit him, but you told me you went into the room.
Did you call the Roddy?
She was in the room.
So at what point did there become aggression between me and him?
I'm going off the story you said. So
okay, so let's find other witnesses for the story. You said I was aggressive, so how?
I said when you went into the room, you upset that he was in the room with the other girl.
No, I wasn't. No. See, you pick and chose what you felt to understand from the story.
Repeat the story.
I said we were talking about another girl. Okay. Prior to this, it's a whole bunch of girls. It's another girl from this. She was on the phone. Not her.
Okay.
It was another girl. And she was on the phone and we were discussing the situation. So when I knocked on the door, and then he opened the door, and then we were discussing it. He got upset, obviously, because he wanted to continue the situation with this girl. So he got upset, not me.
Okay.
I understand the story clear. You want to run back your camera that you have running?
All on camera, so
Yes,
I'll go back
please
to
run
what
it
you
back.
said. I got you.
Be mindful of what you're doing. You're a cop. Like, this is your job.
It's all
Be
recorded.
mindful, so don't make
Everything
up
I'm
don't make
not
up
anything.
Okay.
It's recorded like you said.
Yes. Is that lawful?
What's a good contact phone number for you, Ms. Joanna?
Is that lawful? I'm asking you a question.
Is it lawful for him
To be
remove
dragged
from
by
the
your
room?
hands and your feet.
Is there a statute that says someone can't drag you by the hands? I'm trying to understand what you're asking, really.
Okay. That was my
What's a
question.
good contact phone number for you? All right, and then what's the ETA for the ride that's coming for you?
15.
All right. Do you mind to step outside while we wait for that, please?
No. I do mind.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to step outside while we wait for the ride. Miss, can you step outside while we wait for the ride?
It's raining.
It's not raining.
Okay, but I'm in my pajamas.
It's not raining. There's a porch that's covered right here. This is now my second time asking you.
See, let me tell you all something. This girl is nothing but trouble and drama. Okay, Iman probably rused the day he met her and hooked up with her. You see how she's trying to control the narrative? Byron B even said it. Okay, you took the words out of my mouth. Byron B said she's trying to control the narrative. Yes, that's what she's trying to do. And furthermore, you can see or you can hear that she does not want to leave the residence. She doesn't even want to step outside when the officer's asking her more than once. So that's how you know that she did the same thing when Iman was there, when he asked her to leave, rather. Okay, she said that, oh, I wasn't the one upset. He was the one upset because he wanted to finish what he had going on with her. No, ma'am. He doesn't have to be upset. He's in his darn house. And if he wants you to leave, that's what you should have done. And I would have left gladly, because what I don't want to be is somewhere where I'm not wanted. But that's how you know she came there, got upset. She was the one who was upset. And she already said to the officer when he first got there, according to him, that she was aggressive because there was a girl there. So, girl, sit down somewhere, honey. Okay, this is what Iman gets for messing with all these lame women.
So you're going to remove me?
Yes. Can we step outside onto the porch while we wait for the ride? So this way we can de-escalate everything that's going on here. You're telling your story, you're upset, tensions are high. I'm gonna ask that you please step outside with us. Thank you.
I promise you this. No, you can remove it. I promise you this is going to be outside in 2 seconds. No, let me stand outside.
Let them do exactly what you want.
Let's do it.
At the
Come
same
on.
time, Shakur.
Let's do
At
it.
the same time, they don't have to be aggressive. I'm not tripping.
No, let's do
Take
it.
a second
Put
part.
me outside for 10 minutes, 15 minutes until my
I
car
just
comes.
don't
I
want
don't care.
nothing to go left. That's all. Please. Please don't let nothing go left. We just stand outside with no more, right? I know, but I just don't. She talking about remove me. Please, bro. I just don't want no bullshit happening here, please. I know. I just don't want nothing to go left. She need to wait on her ride. She will wait on her ride. Please don't let nothing go left here, bro. I don't want nothing going left right now. I just can't handle it. I ain't gonna lie. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think she called no cop.
No.
I don't know. It ain't no way. This one, she just playing like. I don't want nobody getting aggressive or nothing, but it's just like.
So the only other option would be to criminally trespass her from the location.
We gonna still do the same to all your Be doing the same thing. See you in court. You know, on Instagram in the morning. So I'm trying.
All right. Byron B said, Byron, you are so low down and nefarious. Okay. Okay. Byron B said exactly. Wait on your ride over there. Okay. Y'all are a mess. DJ Big Six said, Iman, get you a grown arse woman. I know, right? Listen, here's the thing. How do you fumble Tiana Taylor? He's a whole idiot. Okay, that's how. Look where he's at now, honey. This is all bad. Okay? Mel says she's a hot mess. Yeah, she certainly is, and so is he, honey. Okay, two idiots. Mm, mm, mm. Well, I find it all interesting, but those are his problems, not Tiana Taylor's. Okay, not Tiana Taylor's. Now let's continue. Another thing I wanted to bring to you all's attention is this. I saw this last night. Tina Turner's widower, Erwin Bach, goes public with new girlfriend more than 2 years after legendary singer's death. Let me say this about that. I don't know if they think they're just trying to expose this man or act like, oh, he shouldn't be trying to move on. This man, it's been 2 years. This man is elderly. This man's about to be 70 years old. That's him and Tina. May she rest in peace. But what I want to say, I thought they had a picture of the new lady. There she is. That's the new lady right there. And that's him. So here's the thing with that. At the end of the day, let that man live his life, honey. Because one thing that we all should know is that that man absolutely loved Tina Turner. That man gave her a kidney, okay? And I think it was 2014. He gave her a kidney to save her life. She had been suffering from kidney issues since 1978. Who knew, right? But she was going through these issues with her kidneys, got to the point where she was, I guess, an end-stage renal failure, and he gave her his kidney. So with that being said, that's love right there. Okay, people aren't just out here giving you organs. I don't care if they're married to you or not. Okay, some people won't even, see about you when you're sick, let alone giving you a whole organ. So I'm just saying, people need to sit down somewhere trying to act like, oh, that man can't move on. Honey, that man does not want to live his last years, okay, his golden years by himself. And, it's not like he has more years ahead of him than he has behind him. When you get to that point, sometimes you just want to find somebody so you can be happy for the rest of your days and have some peace. Okay, so people need to sit down somewhere. That's just my 2 cents. Not that anyone asked for it. Okay, so anywho, that all being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, there is I don't want to misgender anyone, so let me choose my words carefully. There is a person by the name of Lala who passed away. I'm sure many of you know who Lala was. But Lala passed away, and Lala was of the trans community. And some people have been going in on Lala's father because Lala has passed away, and the father does not want to bury his child in a wig. Okay, he does not want to bury his child in a wig. And people are going in on him saying, oh, he's making it about him. He's doing this, he's doing that. He didn't accept his child and when he was alive and all this, when they were alive. Here's the thing. I think people need to give this man some grace. That was his child, not theirs. But, like I said, you all be the judge. I'm going to play the video. Here we go. That's right. It is his choice. Exactly. Honey, people just be doing too much. And these usually are the people that don't have that darn thing to do with it, that have absolutely no say-so. If I was him, I really wouldn't care what they said. I'd do what I want to do, period.
I want to put the man in the wig. I ain't letting no preacher stand up. Ain't no ordained, anointed preacher gonna do that. Stand up with no man and preach in the wig. Stop it. Y'all doing this for the show. Y'all ain't worried about my son's soul. Please, I ask y'all to have Friday. I'm going to get a word, girl la la. Whatever y'all want, girl la la la. I don't know him as that. I ain't taking that from his followers, from his crowd, none of that. Y'all can have that. Put him in the wig. The viewing is open for the public. Come see him. I ain't taking that opportunity from y'all. I don't want none of his followers, likes, none of that. The funeral Saturday, put my son in the pot smoke, braids with a sharp tape, or afro for the last time. I ain't attending no funeral with my son that God gave to me as a boy in no wig. I ain't attending no funeral. I'm not attending no funeral like that. I ain't being held accountable. You can. Once I secure and make sure my son got a funeral paid for y'all, for the people who truly, genuine donated and supported. I thank y'all. Everybody that called, text, email, prayers, thank you. That genuinely love my son and supported him and want to see him buried the right way. I'm gonna make sure that everything is taken care of, and then I'm gonna release his mom and his sister. They can do whatever they want, but I want to attend the funeral. I'm sorry, I can't. Forgive me, but I just can't. But I'm gonna guarantee you, he's gonna have a funeral. I hope y'all enjoy the show, the Girl La 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 show. Enjoy it. I ain't taking nothing from none of his followers, nothing. I don't want no money, nothing. I'm gonna give y'all a receipt. I don't want none of that. I buried my son last year.
Okay, and you heard him say that he buried his son last year because he did lose another child last year. Okay, 2 children in 2 years. And people want to give this man grief because of how he wants his child to show up for the funeral in their funeral, at the funeral. Okay, exactly. Respect the father's decision. Okay, exactly. So, I just found it all interesting. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's get into this whole thing with Funky Dineva. We're going to hit on that for a second. And then we got to talk about y'all's president. Because when I tell y'all, well, we're mostly going to talk about Pete Hegseth, because he's out here running real scared. Okay, I just want y'all to pay attention. He is running scared. Do y'all hear me? Yep. He has some serious issues because receipts are going to be dropped on him real soon. Okay, they're going to be dropped on him real soon. All right, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Lord Funky Dineva done come out here and put Tamar's business out here on Front Street, talking about how she was messing around with Mendices. Let's get into it.
Booty shorts sitting on top of him.
Hold on.
Want to be like this? Let's be like this. Part of the problem with this whole thing was, Tamar, is that I was never comfortable with the relationship that you and Mendices had in front of me. Okay. All of that, you want to be like this. Let's be like this. Part of the problem with meeting us up at restaurants every time we met up, I was very uncomfortable with it. And if we gonna tell it, let's tell it all. So since you were throwing a party for a friend's birthday party, video shoot in your booty shorts, sitting on top of him meeting us up at. Do y'all want to know why I did not get out the car and go upstairs with Tamar when we got back to her house? Because after her and Mendices got through kissing in the back of that goddamn car, I figured they wanted to be up there privately. That is why when we got dropped, do y'all want to know we got dropped off at Tamar's house? I did not go upstairs. I got in my damn car and went home because you was sitting on his lap in that goddamn Uber and y'all ass was kissing. Okay. And the shit made me damn uncomfortable. Okay. Now, if it got dropped off, you know who happened and what happened to your damn teeth? It's Mendices and his best friend, because they was the ones who went upstairs with you. Now, I don't know whether they was fucking your ass from the back and ran your head through the headboard or what. You know.
Honey, did y'all hear that? Lord have mercy. Now, what is Yandy going to say? Air 44 Roddy said, so who knocked Tamar's teeth out? Yandy. Who knocked her teeth out? Yandy. Came over and caught Mendices and out. And Mendices would have gotten his knocked out too, except for the fact that Yandy paid for his. And she wasn't going to knock those babies out, boo. That's what she wasn't going to do. Okay? She paid about $60,000 for Mendices' teeth. And she was like, we're not going to break these, but I'm going to break yours. Yikes. And went in. Y'all don't believe any of that. I'm just cracking jokes. But honestly, no. But that's if I had to guess. That's who I would have guessed, honey. Because what? Funky Dineva is messy. Do y'all hear me? He is messy boots. But if Tamar actually did get teeth knocked out, I don't know. She said she got teeth knocked out. Some people don't believe it. I don't know if it's true or not. At the end of the day, if she did get her teeth knocked out, she just might when Yandy sees her. If Yandy didn't knock them out the last time. But let's continue. Okay, let's continue, honey, because all this drama is just too much. Oh, I'm sorry, you beloveds. I got one more video for y'all to see before we get serious. Before we get serious, and let me just say that when I saw this video, you all know Sierra said Yandy has an African man somewhere. She isn't worried about Mendices. Shaking my head. Honey, she's worried about Mendices. She might have a man somewhere on the side. Women usually do when their man is cheating and they know it. They usually have somebody on the side, especially if he's cheated more than once. Okay, but with that all being said, Yandy definitely is concerned about Mendices, honey. Okay. And she's also concerned about keeping up appearances. That's why even when it was obvious that Mendices was lying and cheating, Yandy would sit there and say, oh, people are just saying stuff. They don't know what's going on with my family. Girl, we see Mendices out here in the streets of Atlanta. Now, when you were in New York, it was easier to control the narrative because the people in New York are your people and they were loyal. Many of them wouldn't say anything if they saw something. But girl, down here in Atlanta, honey, we don't know y'all like that. People out here talking in these streets. That's that Mendices be all up in them clubs, honey. And I'm talking about the strip clubs and gentlemen's clubs, okay, with the private dancers, the dancers for money. Do what you want them to do and all that. That's what they say. Out here in these streets, everybody in Atlanta damn near knows about Mendices escapades. Honey, we've all heard or seen it with our own too, or heard it with our own too. Okay? And so, even when somebody's cheating, this is what y'all have to remember. Even when somebody is cheating, they still don't want the other person cheat. Isn't that how it goes? It's called having your cake and eating it too. Okay, Barnaby, sit down somewhere, honey. Nobody wants to hear that. It's just like a no good man. Listen to Byron B. talking about two wrongs don't make a right, but okay. Byron B, sit down, okay? That's exactly what I expect a man to say. Man out here cheating, philandering, doing the most. Okay. And then when the woman cheats, oh, no, well, two wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, it doesn't. And one wrong doesn't make a right either. Okay. I know you didn't try it. I know you did not. Pearl said exactly. We don't okay. Tell him about himself, honey. Roddy, don't make me get all the women in the chat to go in on you real quick. Yeah. Songwriter Sonny said he was raised to stay out of girls' business. All right. Sunset Night said, Queen, I can't work, listen to you with the earbud. Okay, so anyway, now let's continue. DJ Big Six. DJ Big Six said, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. What do you know about that? Sit down somewhere, honey. My mother used to be playing that on Saturday mornings when we had to get up and clean the house before we could go out and play. Okay, somebody loving you is wrong. I don't want to be right. Byron said, not taking sides, Queen. Oh, I know you're not. I know you're not, beloved. But that's just a typical male response because men do love to say stuff like that. Oh, two wrongs don't make a right. They love to say it after they've done their dirt. Okay, just to try to keep the woman from doing the same thing. That's all. I'm just messing around with you. Okay. Songwriter Sonny said, all these entanglements is turning love into dreadlocks. All right. So, anywho, let's continue. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Now, like I said, before we get into the serious stuff, let me show you all this last video. This raccoon. Now, I thought this was AI. I said, hold on, this is real. Is this an actual news report? Because this sounds too crazy. Okay, Sheila Askin said, Alexa, play Betty Wright. Okay. Yeah, but this, I thought it was possibly AI or a fake story or something. So I looked it up, honey. It is all real. A darn raccoon broke into a Virginia liquor store and then passed out of the bathroom. Can y'all believe it? These raccoons are nefarious, honey. Okay, the real raccoons and the people that look like me that act as raccoons, they're all nefarious equally.
You're not going to believe this. A liquor store in Virginia was completely wrecked by a raccoon. The floor was covered in chewed open whiskey bottles and puddles of amber liquor spilled everywhere. On Saturday morning, the store employee opened the door and froze. The place looked ransacked, shattered glass, spilled alcohol, even security cameras knocked off the wall. Everyone thought it was a break-in, but when police arrived and checked the footage, the culprit turned out to be a raccoon. Inside the restroom, officers found it lying on its back, completely passed out drunk. Beside it were shredded bourbon bottles and more spilled whiskey soaking the tiles. Staff believe the raccoon's crime timeline went something like this: slipped in through a gap near the back door, spotted the bourbon and tore open bottle after bottle, got more hyped as it drank, knocked over shelves while stumbling around. The raccoon was captured and nicknamed Rocky because it didn't just break in, it caused chaos like a drunk little rock star. After sobering up at an animal rescue center and being confirmed okay, Rocky was released back into the wild, leaving behind a destroyed liquor store and a lot of damage. The whole thing is so ridiculous it feels like a movie plot, but it's completely real.
Now that is so crazy, right? Not a raccoon popping bottles. DJ Big Six said that may be AI Queen. Didn't I just tell you I did the research? Honey, don't doubt me, okay? Don't doubt me. Didn't I just tell you that I thought it could have been a fake story, so I did the research? What part of that did you miss? Now I got to pull receipts, because don't try me, okay? Do not try me. If I show you all AI, it'll be on purpose. I've shown you all a couple of AI videos, and I told you these are AI, all right? Because I can usually tell the difference. And if not, I can do the research. Now, here's what it says, all right? Because I typed in on Google, did a raccoon get drunk? Yes, a raccoon recently got drunk after breaking into a Virginia liquor store and drinking various alcohols. It was found passed out in the bathroom. Animal control released the animal back into the wild after it sobered up, noting it showed no signs of injury. Okay, you want to know anything else? The raccoon entered the Ashland ABC store, went on a rampage, consumed different types of alcohol before collapsing in the store's restroom. All right? But they say in past events that were similar, there have been other instances of raccoons becoming intoxicated, sometimes from fermented fruit or other sources, says the Veterinary Information Network. In these cases, it is important to consult animal control or wildlife experts to rule out diseases like rabies. All right. Claudette said a raccoon got lit. It sure did. Okay, y'all, let's talk about Trump. Oh my goodness, this is all drastic. Let's get into it. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. First things first. Okay, so you all know that people are resigning left and right in the military, right? So let's get into it. People are getting the hell up out of there, okay? They do not want any parts of the shenanigans that are going on called war crimes, alleged war crimes.
A Marine colonel with 24 years of service just resigned. Not for money, not for politics, but because he says Donald Trump is pushing the military past its constitutional limits. Colonel Doug Krugman wrote in the Washington Post that he couldn't keep serving under a commander who, in his words, shows disregard for the Constitution. He's urging other service members to think before following any orders that could be illegal or immoral. I'm a military family. Almost everyone in my family has served, so I understand what that oath really means. You swear to protect the Constitution, not a politician. And when someone at the top starts testing that line, good soldiers start asking hard questions. Krugman didn't just quit a job. He gave up a lifetime career to make a statement. That loyalty to the Constitution comes first. That's not rebellion. That is its truest form of patriotism. If you believe in this country and what it's supposed to stand for, then share this, because
Okay, our entire government is crashing out right now. Okay? They don't know where to run because they know that it's all going down bad. Okay? Listen, they've gotten a military official, a top military official, or shall I say former, because he resigned too. But they've gotten him to agree to testify before Congress, honey, against Pete Hegseth, and it's going down. We'll get to that in a moment.
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded in fire or smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war. This is what you in the press don't
So let
understand.
me get this straight, Pete. 48 hours ago, this was a fake news story. It didn't happen. Then the White House confirms it did in fact happen. And now you're saying it's the fog of war. Who are we at war with? Because what it sounds like to me, Pete, is you're just trying to cover up another one of your many terrible scandals that have happened since you've become the Department of Defense Secretary. Because in the last 10 months alone, Pete Hegseth has leaked classified information to the press. He's deployed the troops on peaceful protesters. And now he's allegedly told his generals to kill them all when there were survivors in a strike on a possible fishing boat. But rather than own up to his mistakes, launch investigations, ensure that they do not happen again, Pete Hegseth has routinely attacked the press and blamed everybody but himself for the terrible decisions that he's made in the last 10 months. All the while declaring himself an American hero and attacking real ones like Mark Kelly.
All right, no lies detected. Absolutely no lies detected. The end of the day. Now let's go to this report from MS Now.
Saw the president say, oh, Pete told me it was okay, that he didn't conduct a second strike. Well, that's easily disprovable, because if there were any weapons used against these boats, they were filmed. They have to be filmed because it's a laser paint of the ship. We had the first part of the film. Was there a second part where we can see exactly what happened? There's pretty clear evidence in all this.
This is very.
Okay, you all heard that, right? You all heard that. At the end of the day, they have video footage, Johnny. They're going to be able to nail him to the wall. He's not going to be able to escape this, I don't think. Okay, let's
A
continue.
good point. Again, Pete Hegseth, Republicans bragging about the kill strikes, killing everybody in the waters. Right now, it's a dangerous time legally for Pete Hegseth. It gets more dangerous if he is spending this time furiously going around, trying to cover it up, trying to make phone calls. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying this is when people really get in trouble in his position. This genie is out of the bottle. And that's why nobody has said that President Trump knows what was going on, but they certainly have said Pete Hegseth delivered the kill orders. And so now if Pete Hegseth is going around trying to cover this up, this is when a situation goes from being very dangerous for him to being even more dangerous. So it is there. The evidence is there. And there's no circling back. Doesn't matter that you now are only letting people like, Chinese religious cults cover your Pentagon, and that you've kicked out all the real news services. The Washington Post, the much maligned, let us say, Washington Post, over the past 6 months, broke this story. And the evidence is there. The names are there. The House Armed Services Committee, the Senate Armed Services Committee, they've got the details. Getting the details. And how interesting, the Democrats, when they released that video a week or two ago, 3 months after these kill strikes and the kill orders, the alleged kill orders, they knew what was going on. And it's hard not to believe that's not the reason they put that out.
And that would certainly explain Secretary Hegseth's really over-the-top reaction to the video. Perhaps he knew this
saying
was...
to execute,
That's what I was thinking.
saying to execute them after, as Andy McCarthy said, if the reporting is right, that Pete Hegseth
Seems
is the
rather
one
trigger happy.
who has put himself in an extraordinarily dangerous legal situation.
Yeah, and certainly let's not understate this. This is a very serious matter. As our friend Tom Nichols and others have pointed out in recent days, this type of incident where survivors were shot as they were clinging to a boat, that happened in World War II. Japanese soldiers shot Americans who were clinging to the boats. Those Japanese soldiers were later convicted and executed. Because that is indeed a war crime. That's how serious this.
Well, we do know they're not going to execute Pete Hegseth But at least I hope they throw his behind in a military prison. Okay, that's where at least, the very least, he deserves. Okay, and Trump deserves to be in prison too, but we know he's not going. They've given him immunity for anything he does while he's in office, just about.
Trouble for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Report expected from the Pentagon saying he could have endangered lives when he shared details of an upcoming airstrike in a group chat on a commercial app back in March. You remember this story. He's already under pressure from both parties over U.S. military strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific.
Pentagon says this Inspector General report is, quote, a total exoneration of Secretary Hegseth, but sources tell CBS News it finds Hegseth violated Defense Department policies when he sent those texts in the commercial messaging app from his personal phone. The controversy surrounding Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth continues to grow this morning. Sources tell CBS News a new Pentagon Inspector General's report found he put U.S. service members at risk by sharing sensitive details of an active bombing mission in Yemen in March in a Signal group chat with other top officials, which mistakenly included a journalist. He detailed the times F-18s would launch and, quote, when the first bombs will definitely drop. Hegseth denied wrongdoing when the story broke this past spring.
Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that.
The White House said in a statement, the review affirms no classified information was leaked, adding President Trump stands by Secretary Hegseth. But the report found the key information posted by Hegseth came from a classified email marked secret, though it's unclear whether Hegseth declassified that info beforehand. Congressional Democrats are voicing concern, including Virginia Senator Mark Warner, who's now calling for Hegseth to resign or be fired.
There's a pattern here of chaotic behavior. There's a pattern here of kind of, I think, disrespect for our uniformed military.
Hegseth is also facing bipartisan questions about why the U.S. hit an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean a second time back in September to reportedly kill 2 survivors. A source familiar with the matter tells CBS News that the survivors were climbing back onto the boat and attempting to salvage some of the drugs. They appeared to be communicating with other boats in the vicinity that could have come to help them. Now, President Trump says he's willing to release the video of the second strike and is vowing to combat drug trafficking with strikes on land, quote, very soon.
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions.
So the top Navy admiral who ordered that second strike on the alleged drug boat, that's Admiral Frank Bradley, is on Capitol Hill today to brief lawmakers about the administration's campaign against drug traffickers in the Caribbean. He's sure to face tough questions about the legality of his orders, and some lawmakers are calling that a war crime. U.S. official tells CBS News that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, is expected to accompany Admiral Bradley to his meetings with Congress today.
Okay, you all, I apologize. Okay, I was looking for a video. Okay, I just found it. I'm gonna pull it up in just a second, but until I get it queued, let's just go to this.
A Pentagon review on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of the Signal messaging app has found he did, in fact, violate Defense Department regulations. Earlier this year, Secretary Hegseth, along with other top Trump officials, accidentally included a journalist in a Signal group chat discussing sensitive military strikes in Yemen. CBS News is working on seeing the report the House and Senate Armed Services Committees have received it. The current version is classified. A redacted version is expected to be made public as early as tomorrow. Again.
Right. So you all heard that. Now, with that all been said, let's talk about it because this video, I'm not going to be able to put it on the screen. I'm just going to let you all listen to it. I can't put it on the screen because it's going to ask me to log in, and I'm not trying to do all that. So I'm just going to let you all hear what this man is saying. Admiral Holsey stands up to Hegseth, and he's ready to testify. Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay, this story is wild. It's moving fast. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth reportedly hauled Admiral Alvin Halsey into his office because Halsey refused to carry out attacks on fishing boats in the Caribbean. Halsey told him straight up he was worried about civilian casualties. Rather than addressing that, Hegseth pushed back. He reminded him of his sworn duty. But here's the part that matters most. Halsey responded that after 40 years of service, he was not going to follow an illegal order. And that is when Hegseth threatened to strip him of his command. And
Did y'all hear that? Hegseth told this man to do something that was illegal, okay? That was an illegal order. And he refused to do it. Then Hegseth threatened to strip him of his rank. Okay, please pay attention.
the meeting blew up. And get this, within 15 minutes, Admiral Halsey submitted his resignation. Now members of Congress have reached out, and Admiral Halsey has agreed to testify about why he retired, and he's bringing receipts. This could be a massive turning point. Stay tuned, because this one's not going away.
Yeah, it's not going away, honey. It's about to get real ugly. I told you all, honey, they're just getting it from all corners. Okay, and that's good because all this stuff that they've created, all this chaos, all this mess, okay, people being attacked and assaulted by ICE, being harassed and all of that, you know, agents getting killed. This is all crap, or National Guard troops getting killed. Okay, and then you got all this other stuff going on. People who are American citizens being hemmed up by ICE. An African American man being hemmed up by ICE when he leaves just to go to the store. You've got all these crazy things going. People getting killed out here in the sea in boats, being accused of things that nobody's proven that they did, and they speak so, you know, unequivocally. Pete Hegseth and Trump. Yeah, they were definitely trade de agua, and they were bringing in illegal substances. But they just keep saying the same talking points. If you listen to Hegseth, he literally is mimicking what Trump says. All interesting. And then Lindsay Halligan and Pam Bondi, let's not forget about that mess and this whole Epstein thing. All of this stuff, the walls are caving in on them. Okay, the walls are caving in, and you know they also. It's been said that they're calling for impeachment of Pete Hegseth for that Signal Gate when he leaked that information earlier this year in that group text or the group chat, and included that reporter that had nothing to do with it, who, fortunately for them, just let them know that they sent him the information that he wasn't supposed to have. But just imagine how bad that could have gone. Could have been a whole lot worse. Soldiers could have lost their lives. And you should not get away with that, okay, just because you want to say it was an accident. If it's an accident, that just further proves that he is incompetent and not qualified for the position that he holds. Because you cannot afford to be incompetent and to make those sort of dangerous mistakes that could cost people's lives, okay, when you're in charge. That's what you can't afford to do.
We have some pretty big news right now. Pete Hegseth has asked a senior admiral in the United States military to resign, saying, quote, "You're either on the team or you're not. When you get an order, you move out fast and don't."
He didn't ask him to resign. He basically threatened to strip him, okay, of his rank, you know, all of it. He wouldn't have gotten his benefits and all of those things. So he did the smart thing. He walked away like he was going to think about it, and 15 minutes later came back and handed in his resignation, effective immediately, okay? And now he's going to testify before Congress. And I, for one, Cannot wait to hear what he has to say, because we're going to learn a whole lot of things that we don't even know about, that hasn't even been reported on the news. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention.
Ask questions. The Wall Street Journal is now reporting that Admiral Alvin Holsey, who was responsible for Southcom, Southern Command, has been asked to resign by the Secretary of Defense. According to the journal's reporting, Commander Holsey had initial concerns about the legality of lethal strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean. Hegseth told the admiral, "You're either on the team or not. When you get an order, you move out fast and don't ask questions." That is what Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, is telling senior officials in the United States military. Wouldn't be surprising if that's what was told to Admiral Bradley as well. Spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
It's all going bad, or for Trump's administration, no less.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth called Admiral Alvin Holsey on the carpet to address the admiral's refusal to carry out fishing boat attacks in the Caribbean. Admiral Holsey expressed his concern for civilian casualties. Secretary Hegseth pushed back and reminded the admiral of his sworn duty. Admiral Holsey informed Hegseth that he had no intention of carrying out an illegal order after 40 years of service and the U.S. NAV. In response to the admiral's stance, Hegseth threatened to strip Holsey of his command. The meeting became heated and quickly adjourned. Less than 15 minutes later, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth received Admiral Alvin Holsey's letter of resignation. In recent days, members of Congress have reached out to Admiral Holsey requesting him to testify on events surrounding his resignation. Admiral Holsey has receipts. Admiral Holsey has agreed to testify.
Oh, you heard that, right? They said Admiral Holsey has receipts, honey. Okay, y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. It's all going bad for you, Trumped it up. What you gonna do now? Okay, what is he going to do now? What lies will they come up with? Because this man's got receipts.
You want me to bring the receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? Because I got receipts. What is she talking about?
Holsey says he has the receipts, honey. Okay, please pay attention. But now, guess what? I just confirmed it. House Democrat announces articles of impeachment 21 minutes ago by the Hill. Okay? I told y'all they were talking about impeaching Hegseth. And let me just say this. If I'm not mistaken, I want you all to listen. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe, and I'm going to double check as you watch this video, but I do believe, if memory serves the Queen correct, that the President of the United States cannot pardon any of his cabinet members or members of his administration. He can't pardon them if it has anything to do with an impeachment. I think that's what that goes. I think that's how it goes. So let me just double check real quick as you all watch this clip. Oh, honey, I hope they get him one way or the other. Okay? And if they can't get Trump, just get Hegseth and anybody else who was complicit in Trump's BS. And I'm going to tell you something. If I am correct, because I really believe that if you're impeached, the president cannot then come back and pardon you. If that's true, this may be why they filed the articles of impeachment, so that he can't get out of it.
We have major developments this morning. It looks as though the walls are really closing in on Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. The first articles of impeachment against.
Isn't that exactly what I said? Yeah, the walls are closing in. It's going down, y'all. And I'm here for it.
Hegseth either have already or will be filed today for murder, conspiracy, and mishandling of classified information. It's a very big day on Capitol Hill today. I was on Capitol Hill yesterday. I'm going to be speaking with members of Congress today because Republicans and Democrats, there is bipartisan opposition to what Hegseth is doing at the Secretary's office in the Pentagon right now, and you need to know about it. So make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Consider subscribing to my Substack by clicking the link below, because this is important. This morning,
Let me stop him right there for just a moment. Just anticipate that it's getting catastrophic. Okay? D Major said, anyone need popcorn? I'm sorry, just anticipate said claustrophobic. I thought you said catastrophic, honey, because that's what it's getting for me. Claustrophobic? Honey, that's when you're in a tight squeeze. Oh, you're saying because the walls are caving in on them? Good analogy. Okay, but listen here, listen. I had to stop him for a minute, put him on pause, because I just want to tell you all this. I did my research real quick and just Googled, basically. And here's what it says. Yes, a U.S. president has the constitutional authority to pardon members of their own cabinet for federal war crimes, as long as the offense has already been committed and the individuals have not been impeached. Hegseth, your ass is done. Do y'all hear that? Ooh, honey, if he gets impeached, baby, it's going down. Okay? It's going wrong for him. He is not. That's right. Byron B said the fall of an empire. Okay? Honey, he will not, I repeat, he will not be able to get a pardon. Let me continue because this is all so juicy. Anyway, it says, so long as the offense has already been committed and the individuals have not been impeached, the president's pardon power is extremely broad and extends to all offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachments. Wow. I guarantee you that's why they filed impeachment articles on his arrest. Said don't want him to get away with it. And I'm going to tell you another thing, too. I really want him to go down now for threatening that black admiral's job. That man has been in service for 40 plus years, and he has done a stellar job, okay? His record speaks for itself, and the nerve of this devil to think that he's going to make that black man the scapegoat. Yeah, that's what they've been doing for decades, all right? But I want y'all to pay attention because Admiral Alvin Holsey is not the first black soldier, military official to choose to do the right thing. All of those who are out here, sadly, putting their careers at risk, their freedom at risk, their safety at risk by allowing Trump and this idiot, Pete Hegseth, to send them out there on these BS missions to murder likely innocent people who haven't done a darn thing, just trying to work and earn a living. And they're going along with it because they don't want to fall out of favor with Trump. They're going to come to, they're going to really be so just destroyed if they all end up going to prison, okay? Because these are all war crimes. You're not getting away with it. Everybody involved can be held accountable. So we'll see how it turns out for them, honey. They better keep their fingers crossed.
The first articles of impeachment will be introduced against Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. These articles of impeachment concern murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and then also the mishandling of classified information as it relates to Signalgate. Now, I'm going to throw a little cold water on the articles of impeachment. They will be filed by Sri Thanadar, a Democrat from Michigan. It's unclear how much support they have. Now, a number of Democrats would likely support impeaching Hegseth if they had the majority in the House of Representatives. But the truth is, Republicans control the House of Representatives, and therefore they control the agenda. These articles of impeachment have to go through a committee, then they have to go to the full House. Right now, Speaker Mike Johnson will not allow that to happen, and any Republican committee chairman will also not allow that to happen. And so the question is, why are you introducing articles of impeachment? Well, the answer, in a lot of ways, is, well, let's get everyone on record. Do these Republicans stand by Hegseth even as he possibly launches war crimes or as he possibly is found to have mishandled classified information by an inspector general's report that will be released sometime this afternoon? And so you have a situation where Hegseth now faces articles of impeachment, but this isn't the only issue for him. The walls really are closing in, and let's talk about it, because according to the Wall Street Journal, Pete Hegseth forced out Admiral Holsey, who was the former commander of the Southern Command, one of the chief admirals in the United States military. And I want you to read this quote when we're talking about why he forced the senior admiral out. "You're either on the team or you're not," Hegseth told Holsey. "When you get an order, you move out fast and don't ask questions." This is a direct report from the Wall Street Journal overnight, and it's pretty stunning to say the least. Holsey was responsible for overseeing the strikes in the Southern Caribbean, overseeing really everything that was happening in Southcom. He was forced out 2 months ago in mid-October. He voiced significant opposition to the strikes in the Southern Caribbean, saying that they likely violate the laws of war, they likely violate international law, and he was forced out by the Secretary of Defense because apparently when Holsey got an order, he didn't move out fast, and he did ask questions. And while Hegseth's saying when you get an order, you move out fast and don't ask questions, that to me tells me that Hegseth wants complete loyalty from his secretary, from his admirals, from those under him. But the problem is, complete loyalty does not include war crimes. And even Newsmax, a host of Newsmax, is now saying that Hegseth should be prosecuted.
No pleasure to say what I'm about to say because I worked with Pete Hegseth for 7 or 8 years at Fox News. This is an act of a war crime, ordering survivors who the law requires be rescued instead to be murdered. There's absolutely no legal basis for it. Everybody along the line who did it, from the Secretary of Defense to the Admiral to the people who actually pulled the trigger, should be prosecuted for a war crime for killing these 2 people.
And who would? Everyone should be prosecuted for a war crime for killing those 2 people. Now, the Pentagon has a new explanation now for what happened. This is according to the New York Times. Before the Trump administration began attacking people suspected of smuggling drugs at sea, Hegseth approved of contingency plans for what to do if an initial strike left survivors. The military would attempt to rescue survivors who appeared to be helpless, shipwrecked, and out of what the administration considered a fight. But it would try to, again, to kill them if they took what the United States deemed to be a hostile action, like communicating with suspected cartel members. So here's the thing. You have to talk about what is a threat to the United States of America. A threat to the United States of America, if you have 2 men clinging to the side of a boat who could theoretically possibly get onto some kind of wreckage and find a phone in the middle of the ocean and call cartel members, that is a step too far. And when you look at the definition of a shipwrecked person do not include combatant personnel engaged in seaborne attacks who are proceeding ashore unless they are clearly in distress and require assistance. They qualify as shipwrecked persons only if they have ceased all active combat activity. When they are clinging to the side of a boat that is on fire, flames, they are by definition shipwrecked. And so Hegseth's order, according to the New York Times, actually lives in that gray area at this point. It's no longer just a clear everything was fine. It could have been a war crime. It really could have been. The order in and of itself could have been a war crime. And while right now, Republicans on Capitol Hill, like Republican Senator Tom Tillis, they're demanding answers.
On a disabled vessel, you learn that the responsibility a boater has, if you're a recreational boater, to actually come to the aid of a distressed vehicle, a vessel, if it doesn't pose a threat to you. Minimally, you should have at least followed through by trying to get assets there to apprehend them. If someone knowingly launched a second missile at that boat, which led to the deaths of the other 2, then they have to be held accountable, and they shouldn't be in whatever role they're in.
They've been putting the onus of this on the admiral here. Do you believe that it is on him, or do you think it's on Secretary
I'll take
Hegseth?
at face value right now what Secretary Hegseth said. He said he wasn't there. He said he was busy doing other things. I would assume a part of the record was what was the other thing that he was doing that was more important than a battle damage assessment over the first strike in the Caribbean.
Well, that's what we need to find out, is what the hell Hegseth was doing in between the first strike and the second strike. Remember, there was apparently an 2-hour period between the 2 strikes. Where was Hegseth? What meeting did the Secretary of Defense have? Now, right now, we got an old video of Hegseth saying that anyone who commits violations of laws of war should be held accountable. And it's a very timely video for people to see today.
Do you think there have to be consequences for abject war crimes? now, then there is a consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow unlawful orders from their commander in chief. There's a standard, there's an ethos, there's a belief that we are above what so many things that our enemies or others would do.
So, Senator, what do you think of that?
Well, Aaron, I think he's correct, and it's exactly what we said. But when we said it, Pete Hegseth now, said 8 years later, or 9 years later, he says what we said was false and reckless.
Okay, didn't I tell you all that? It's low down self, but hold on. We got more dirt on him coming right up. Okay, one box said, Queen, I am in transportation training, yet most likely will catch the after video later. I love you all nefariously, lovely folks. Well, we love you right, Black beloved, okay? And thank you for being a member for 13 months. Peace, love, and blessings. I appreciate you. But let's continue because we got to get to this next clip. Because Hegseth pretty much told us to our faces that he don't give a damn about rules of engagement. Rules of engagement? What's that? Who needs it? I'm Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of the Department of War, and me and Trump it up. We do whatever the hell we want. F the rules, and if you don't like it, you're going to F around and find out. Okay, that's basically what he said. I'm not even joking. I'm going to play the footage.
Here's the deal. Hegseth said it. He said that abject war crimes should be punished. And the truth is, that is the truth. Those who commit abject war crimes should be held accountable. Republicans,
right.
Democrats, independents agree. Whether Pete Hegseth ordered a war crime is what people are asking right now on Capitol Hill. And while Hegseth, he's facing major, major possible consequences as the walls are closing in.
He said whether it's through impeachment or removal through the Trump administration. Here's the thing, though. This is what I want you all to pay attention to. Now, he's saying, and he's right, that the Republicans are likely not going to allow this to happen. And we know Mike Johnson, MAGA Mike's going to get all up in the way and try to do whatever he can to halt it. So will the impeachment be successful? Maybe not. But here's the thing. What also I'm sure the Republicans are thinking about is how this is going to look to the rest of the world. You see, the rest of the world, the other world leaders, even our allies, they don't look too friendly upon people who commit war crimes. Because if you're a country who commits war crimes, well, people don't tend to trust you. Okay, people don't tend to trust you when they know that's the kind of thing you do. And also, there are, the moral implications involved. Okay, there's more implications involved. And not to mention, Pete Hegseth blatantly came out and said, you don't give a damn about no rules of engagement. Roll the footage. Okay, I'm telling myself what to do here. Hold on, you all. Nicole, thank you, beloved, for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now listen to what this fool says. I can't make this up. He literally told us to our faces. And he also, there's the other footage that you just saw that I showed you yesterday when he said that there has to be consequences for illegal orders that are given and war crimes. Okay? He said it himself and he's absolutely right. So Pete, come and get your consequences real quick. Okay, go ahead and take accountability. Tell the truth and shame the devil. In other words, Trump.
We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters.
Y'all heard that, right? Did y'all hear what he said? And he thinks that we believe him when he says he didn't give that order? You literally just said F the rules of engagement. No more politically correct. We unloose the hands of our soldiers. Isn't that what he said? Wow, this is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I can't believe he said all this out loud. Okay, publicly. What an idiot. But thanks for doing it, because all of this will be used against you. Okay? This is all going to stand. Honey, yeah, he's going to prison, honey. Let me tell y'all something. Okay? He's going to prison for this if I have to go have a meeting with the ancestors. All right? I want y'all to pay attention. If I have to go to the spiritual realm, all right, like T'Challa did over there in Wakanda, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because he's going down for this, honey. This is just the most. Okay, this is too much. But let's continue, because there's even more. Hegseth he has no shame, and he really has no empathy or sympathy. Like, he doesn't give a darn. Kill everybody. Take them all out. Leave no prisoners. Basically what he said.
Partisan fight, it's a legal one, and the facts are now impossible to ignore. Pete Hegseth gave an order to leave no survivors. 2 people lived through the first blast, then a second strike was ordered to kill them anyway. Under U.S. law and the laws of war, intentionally killing unarmed survivors who no longer pose a threat is illegal. Full stop. You don't have to take my word for it. Even the legal analyst on Newsmax, a former judge who worked alongside Pete Hegseth for years at Fox News, is calling this what it is, a war crime.
I worked with Pete Hegseth for 7 or 8 years at Fox News. This is an act of a war crime, ordering survivors who the law requires be rescued instead to be murdered.
That should alarm every American who cares about the Constitution, the military, and basic limits on government power. We simply cannot tolerate or normalize illegal orders from the top of the Pentagon. Pete Hegseth must resign, and there needs to be a full independent investigation to determine whether domestic or international law was violated. Our service members are required to follow the law, and their leaders must be held to the same standard.
Yeah, he needs to be forced to resign, just like he tried to get that Admiral, Admiral Holsey to do. He wanted to force him out. That man had to go ahead and resign so he didn't lose his benefits and pension and all that. At the end of the day, honey, this is all crazy. Now, GOP senator says Hegseth was not exonerated by a new watchdog report. Because here's the thing. They came out and tried to say that they looked into it and basically Hegseth didn't give the orders and all this. Yeah, that's right, Nene. He sure did say it, beloved. He said rules of engagement are stupid. That's exactly what he said, okay? That's exactly what he said. Who needs rules of engagement? Let him tell it. Okay, here we go.
When it comes to this Inspector General's report, the conclusion is that, in part, that Secretary Hegseth did put American forces at risk by sharing this information in a Signal group chat. Do you agree with that conclusion?
I agree.
Secretary Hegseth is framing it as total exoneration. Is that how you view this report that came out today?
No, I think at some point, just take the learning experience and move on. No one can rationalize that as an exoneration. We know that mission information was outside of the classified setting that it was trusted to be in. And, Caitlin, I don't even bring a pen into a classified briefing. We obviously don't have our phones. We don't have our watches. I don't even bring a pen in to make notes, to remove any doubt that there is something that I could have dropped or put in the trash can that I forgot about, because that's how seriously you need to take classified information. Thank God nothing bad happened. Thank God the great decision that the president made to make that strike was successful, but it could have put it at risk. And why would you send the signal that maybe this is okay? Maybe you could be exonerated by leaking information before a critical mission. Just let's move past it.
Okay, and that was a GOP member saying that. Okay? I bet Hegseth is probably thinking sometimes to be your own people. Okay? But let's continue. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share.
More and more text messages are released about this whole Signal gate. I went back and watched what Pete Hegseth said to the reporter when he landed in Hawaii. I wanted to hear what he denied and what he didn't deny, what he said. But something caught my eye that had nothing to do with what he was saying, and really disturbed me. So the whole sequence of events was Pete Hegseth lands, he gets off the plane, and he goes over to the press pool to make a prepared speech, like prepared remarks. And in those prepared remarks, he gets into a list, right? He develops a cadence when he's listing things. Let me show you.
Indo-Pacific, shifting priorities to make sure we're deterring threats to the future. President Trump's been focused on that. Reestablishing the warrior ethos, rebuilding our military, and ultimately reestablishing deterrence.
So you hear the cadence, right? It's a normal, somebody listing off a list, what they want to do, what they want to accomplish. Very normal, body language is normal. Then this female reporter asks him a question about the Signal group chat, and he again lists things when talking about the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, but notice his change in voice and his body language.
Can you share how your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic, and were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage.
Watching that back makes my skin crawl. First and foremost, this female reporter asks the question, does her job, and then he scoffs at the question as if to dismiss her or to, say you're ridiculous for asking that question, and then punctuates every point he's making in this new list by literally getting in her face, invading her personal space, as if to try and intimidate her. I mean, it goes so far beyond defending one's actions. It goes into the intimidation tactics. It goes into manipulation, emotional manipulation. Like, he was accused of things in the past with a woman, and makes my skin crawl. Just a pathetic excuse for a...
Hey, you can say that again. You can say that again, honey. At the end of the day, this man is nothing nice. Him and Trump make my skin crawl, quite frankly.
Okay, so Pete Hegseth has got to go. And really, while we're at it, so does his boss. The whole Venezuela drug boat thing is just, it's too much. It's too much. And look at Senator Rand Paul. He's beside himself. And secretly, they're saying a lot of Republicans in Congress are just say that the whole thing was wrong. First of all, they ordered the bombing of these supposed drug boats, but they had no proof. They had no proof. And they keep saying, we're doing this because they're bringing drugs to the United States. Those boats can't make it to the United States. They would have to refuel like hundreds of times to get here. And look at them. They look like seaweed boats, they're we used to call them. So they bombed that one boat, and then there were survivors, and they were hanging onto the wreckage. And Pete Hegseth tried to throw a general under the bus and say he ordered it. Hegseth ordered it. So did Trump. They said, kill them. And now they're backpedaling, and they're saying, we knew about the first strike. We didn't know about the second one. Yeah, they did. This is turning into war crimes. These are like crimes against humanity. And now there are families that are suing our government because they were saying these guys were not doing what the U.S. government said they were doing. So something's got to give. I think Hegseth stays as the head of the Department of War. Please, are numbered. And then once these guys are all gone, we can go back to calling it the Department of Defense. Defense Department, yeah.
We are learning now that Pete Hegseth has a history of ignoring the rules of engagement and has no problem committing war crimes. This goes back from when he was deployed in Iraq, and this all comes from excerpts from his book, The War on Warriors. And The Guardian did great reporting on this yesterday. In his book, he wrote about where he rejected a military JAG lawyer's guidance on the rules of engagement, where the example was provided that you come upon a person holding a grenade launcher, and how do you react? And Hegseth and his platoon said, you take him out. And the JAG officer said, no, you don't. You have to wait until that grenade launcher becomes a threat. It has to be pointed at you before it is considered a threat. Hegseth wrote in his book that his reply was that I will not let that nonsense filter into your brains, saying that to his platoon. He said, I will have your back just like our commander. Well, his commander, Colonel Michael Steele, was later reprimanded in 2006 for ordering soldiers to kill all military-age males in a raid. All of this takes on new meaning now with this double tap boat strike and killing 2 survivors that they provided no quarter to. The Department of Defense Law of War Manual says you cannot declare no quarter when conducting operations on the basis that there shall be no survivors. And it appears from what we're learning is that that's what this whole operation was based on, that there would be no survivors, that they would take out the threat entirely. Not to mention that the operation violated the Geneva Conventions and other international treaties. So we'll see what happens here going forward. Let me know what you think about all this. Comment, like, share, spread the word, follow.
Okay, didn't I tell you all that? Remember, you heard it here first. I told you all they violated the Geneva Convention and other treaties. And at the end of the day, Pete Hegseth, he basically already told on himself. Okay, he basically said, F the rules of engagement. They're stupid. Okay, they don't have to be politically correct. They're not going to tie the hands of their soldiers. They're going to let them go out there so they can be intimidating and take everybody out. That's what he said. Okay? That's what he said, honey. He's going down. But hold on. Do you all remember when I told you all just the other day how Trump was up late at night, past midnight, okay, sending out hundreds of texts, posts on Truth Social. He was posting hundreds of things. And then not only just posting all this crazy stuff, but also reposting other crazy stuff. And so, hold on, somebody's texting me. Hold on, beloveds. So, okay. So anyway, with that all being said, here's the thing. So now they're talking about him on the news. And I believe it's for the same night that I was talking about when I told y'all he was posting all of those darn posts or whatever. Trump is so stupid. And then they're saying this is why he's falling asleep in these meetings and whatnot. Because he's not sleeping at night. Because if you're up in the wee hours of the morning posting on social media, first of all, that's crazy at his age. But of course you're not going to be able to get up, right? And he sent out hundreds of those posts, just so you all know, because I don't think I mentioned this the other day. He sent out those hundreds of posts within the span of an hour. Most of them came out within the span of an hour. I promise you, over 100 in the span of an hour. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I didn't even realize that they'd all come within an hour until Ben Masilis said so. And I'm like, what? He did that in an hour? Yeah, he's clearly crazy. Okay. That's right. Claudette said 400. Yes, it was about 400. Okay, that's what Ben Masilis said. Because they were basically, Trump also basically took a video, an interview that Ben Masilis did with Eric Holder. Okay, he interviewed Eric Holder, the former attorney general, and Trump took a clip of that interview and then edited it to try to fix it to, try to arrange it to fit his narrative, and then posted that as well. Like basically going on an attack on him and his platform. Honey, Trump is the devil. That's all there is to it. Let's continue, because I'm hoping somebody puts a stop to this regime. They all need to be thrown in prison. The quickness.
Posting an inability to keep his eyes open would raise questions about any 80-year-old, let alone the president of the United States. Trump made nearly 160 posts lashing out at political enemies and, of course, boosting fawning messages from his supporters, obviously. That is a rate of nearly 1 post per minute, just to give you a sense. And then, believe it or not, he started back up again shortly before 6 a.m. this morning. Now, all of that social media posting in lieu of restorative sleep appeared to have taken a toll on the 79-year-old president. Earlier today, Trump appeared to be, shall we say, fighting to stay awake during a cabinet meeting. That's a very kind way of describing it. The manic posting and inability to keep his eyes open would raise questions about any 80-year-old, let alone the president of the United States. But that is all on top of many, many more questions the White House is being confronted with regarding Trump's health, including why he received an MRI scan during his physical last month and why he couldn't answer reporters when asked what part of his body the scans covered. Yesterday, the White House tried to put the speculation around that medical visit to bed, saying that the MRI was a, quote, preventative cardiovascular checkup, an explanation that is only raising more questions. As a longtime cardiologist for former Vice President Dick Cheney told the Washington Post, an MRI or CT scan is absolutely not a part of standard preventative imaging for men of Trump's age. The doctor also pointed out that Trump did not appear to undergo similar scans when he received a physical exam last April. Now, whatever Trump may or may not be going through health-wise, it's a good thing he has access to whatever care he may need, because millions of Americans could soon find themselves not so fortunate. Trump and House Republicans have still not budged at all, really, on extending subsidies for the Affordable Care Act that are set to expire at the end of this month. And if they do expire, ACA premium payments would more than double on average next year, meaning that millions of Americans would be unable to afford basic health care, let alone Trump's so-called preventative MRIs. And you wonder why Democrats are doing well in elections. I don't think you have to wonder.
Okay. All right. Well, you all heard that. Trump's crazy self sitting up there dozing off, nodding off, looking like he's half scared. Okay. At the end of the day, honey, it's all going bad for him, and I'm loving it. Aren't y'all? Aren't y'all excited that all of this to-do is going on about them? All right, Trump was trying to listen. Trump was trying so busy and desperately to distract us from the Epstein files, but now he's got to try to figure out how he's going to distract us from these war crimes they've committed, okay? And that's not allegedly. We know they committed war crimes. That's what we know. They didn't get any prior approval or authorization from Congress, which is required for number one. Okay, Pete Hegseth can sit there, him and Trump can sit there and try to play the blame game. Okay, point the finger at somebody else, have scapegoats and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the truth's going to come out. Okay, these things are going to be found on footage. All right, and it's all going bad real quick for them. Now, with that all being said, do you all remember? I know you all have probably seen this by now, and I wanted to show this to you all, but I forgot. But we're going to look at it right now. The video of the church folk going in on those little children, trying to force them to say what they're thankful for, as it pertains to Thanksgiving. This is nothing but indoctrination. But I'm going to really break it down after we watch this video. This guy did a TikTok about it, and I like what he had to say, even though he was going off. But I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to tell you what I see when I look at that. Okay, Nicole just gifted 5 memberships to the Queen's channel. Thank you, Nicole, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. You all shout out Nicole. Thank her for these memberships. Okay, it's always a pleasure when people are kind enough to be thoughtful of others and give you all memberships. All right, so be sure to say thank you to Nicole. All right, thanks, Nicole. I appreciate you, beloved. Okay, so let's go to this video here. This video went viral. This man claims they were being programmed by religion, basically indoctrinated. But let's get into it. And I want you all to really pay attention to this, because this is exactly what happened to most of us. Maybe not to this extreme, but this is basically what they did to us all. Okay, all of us who grew up in the church.
They done fucked up. They done fucked up. Let me see this shit. Now I'm about to break this shit down. What is you talking about?
I don't want to hear no toys. I don't want to hear you thankful for your friends. I don't want to hear you thankful for your teacher. It's not about that right now. You're going to say what you really thankful for.
I want y'all to pay attention to this full video because what you about to witness are kids being indoctrinated, kids being programmed. This same shit happened to you. You just can't admit it yet. Hold on, y'all hear that old hoe in the background talking about some, you gotta train them up. That is what you call, you gotta program them.
That he can save my life. And that he gave his own son for me to be here.
So this first girl, she don't even know how to answer the question correctly if you just listen to the response, right? But however, her responses are responses that she has learned. It's called learned behavior. This is not something that she truly believes. This is not something that she truly knows. This is something that she is being forced to fucking say.
I'm thankful for my stepmom because she's, I can't say that.
Hold on, you see that little hoe on the right side shake her head in disappointment like, no, trying to stop shit? Bitch, sit down. Sit your ass down.
We're gonna start again. And it ain't gonna be just that. We're gonna get it together. Amen. In the name of Jesus. Because I'm done. Backside. Enough is enough. Amen. So get it together. You can be mad. I don't care.
This little girl is not possessed. She was expressing how the fuck she felt. So instead of listening to her, they shut her down, made her start over, and tried to force a reaction that fit their script. This is programming at its finest. And did you hear the threat? You didn't hear the threat, did you? You better get it together. Who mama is this?
I'm thankful for my stepmom because she listens to me better than my actual mom. Thank you.
Pause. So the little girl expresses how the fuck she felt, and this is their reaction. Just stay tuned. Look at this shit. This shit is wild.
Right now, in the name of Jesus, I speak to the enemy that's trying to rule and reign in you. Right now, open the door.
What enemy is in this little girl right now? You just made that shit up. And then on top of that, you put it in the name of Jesus. That's your little favorite shit to do.
The word of God says we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against the principalities of the darkness that try to do stronghold. And what we will not have right now in the name of Jesus is that. So the enemy that's trying to live in you, making you think that, we cast that out right now in the mighty name of Jesus, whether you like it or not, because you will bow down to the Most High God.
Whether you like it or not, because you will bow down. Why is you talking to that little child like that? Look at that little girl fucking face. Little girl can't even express herself. Imagine how many kids right now can't express themselves. I used to be one of them kids. That wasn't deliverance. That was dismissal. A child shouldn't have to choose between pleasing the crowd and honoring her mother or her stepmother. Stop rebuking these kids and start listening to them. That is where healing starts. Oh shit, they done fucked up. They done fucked up. Let me see this shit. Now I'm about to break this shit down.
Okay, these women are weird. Okay, these women are weird. So let's talk about it. Because first and foremost, she said that the little girl couldn't even say her stepmom because her stepmom treats her better than her mother. Their question to the little girl should have been, well, what is your mom not doing? Okay, is the mother abusive? What's going on here? I would have questions about that, but no, they want to tell them what to be thankful for. You know what this is? Like he said, this is indoctrination, but you know who else this happened to? You know who else this happened to exactly that same way and worse? Your ancestors. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, this is what they did to your ancestors, honey. This is why we have this in the first place is our religion. Those of us who are Christians. Because enslaved Africans in the Americas were systematically indoctrinated with religion. You see, mainly Christianity, okay, through a combination of force, restriction, psychological control, and selective teaching. And that's the same thing they're doing right here. Okay, they're quoting the scripture that they want to quote. I'll guarantee you that. They're not telling them the truth of the entire Bible. They're not telling them about esoteric hidden messages and allegorical stories within the context of the Bible that have different meanings and hidden messages. They don't even know about that stuff. You know how I know they don't know about it? Because people who know about those things don't act like them. Okay, that's what we don't do. Okay, because we've surpassed the indoctrination. Okay, we've awakened from the slumber, but they're still trapped. They want to trap others with them. Okay, that's what they want to do, and I want y'all to pay attention. But see, here's the story, and it's very complex in my opinion, because enslaved people also reshaped religion into something empowering. Okay, that's what they did, into something empowering, which is what Black people tend to do with most things that we embark upon or engage in. Right? They made it empowering and resistant. And see, That's how the indoctrination, that's how you know it worked. That's how you know it worked. And enslaved Africans definitely responded. Now, the slaveholders, they often allowed access only to the certain biblical passages. They didn't let them read the whole Bible. I've told you all before in the spiritual channel how they would have not allowed them to read Deuteronomy, specifically the part about the yokes of iron upon your necks and being taken onto ships and taken to a new Egypt, which is nothing more than America. Okay, please pay attention. With that all being said, even when these pastors go to theology school, they agree that they won't talk about that specific scripture. They don't want to get into all of that. And they're rewarded for doing so with 501c3s. Now, that's what the word is on the streets. Okay. And I absolutely believe it. Now, also, they teach them about obedience to masters, servants, love your masters or obey your masters, talk about rewards in heaven rather than justice on earth, and then telling them about hellfire and brimstone and the gnashing of teeth when you don't do as told. Here's the question. Slaves never thought and asked themselves why in the hell they're sitting up here telling us that we need to be so nice and sweet and turn the other cheek, not fight back, not want an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, which it says in the Old Testament, but then it switches up in the New. They didn't have questions about that. I wonder if they did. Probably not, because quite frankly, they probably didn't get to see any of the other things outside of what they were forcefully fed. Okay? Because the person who was preaching was given certain scripture to tell them. And then they would have a white man, an overseer, sitting in there listening and paying attention to make sure that that black pastor didn't say anything he wasn't supposed to say. Okay, see how they always use one of us to do things nefarious to us. They infiltrate our organizations. They get raccoons who will be willing to work against the rest of us at the behest of them because they want to have close proximity to them. This is how it's always been. And so they would do the same thing then. They would get these black pastors and tell them what they can feed us, as far as the scripture is concerned, what they can say, and then have them go out there and say it. You couldn't say anything else. They also, this really doesn't have much to do with this conversation, but just to know for FYI, they also made the ushers. This is why ushers to this day wear white gloves, because they were made to wear white gloves. So they could make sure, the overseer could make sure they weren't taking any money out of the pot. Okay. Well, I'm not going to say the overseer because clearly I don't think they would have had any money to put in the pot when they were slaves. But as time progressed and black people started earning their own money and whatnot, the white man still kept a watchful eye over them and being all up in their business in the church, just like even till this day. Okay. When some pastors get out of pocket and don't want to be raccoons and don't want to, work at the behest of nefarious presidents like Trump did up. You notice how they always want the black pastors to come meet up with these presidents when they first get in office? Why do you think that is? Pay attention to which of these pastors are going and attending those meetings. Okay? But anyway, with that all being said, yeah, that's all that was. They were sitting up there using force, coercion, manipulation, and everything else to get those children to be indoctrinated, not allowing them to have freedom of choice, as to what they were actually thankful for. What is wrong with a child saying that they're their stepmother who treats them better than their mother? What is wrong with them saying they're thankful for toys? They're children. They don't have the brains of adults. Okay, they may know about God and Jesus, but they may not understand the full concept. And though you teach it to them, at the end of the day, you don't force it on them. I'll tell you this, it's always much more beneficial when it comes to church and religion. This is just my opinion, that you don't force it on your children. That will just make them resent it. A lot of us, our parents forced that crap on us. Okay, I'm sure I didn't want to be in church on Sunday, but my mother made us go every Sunday. We were there all day on Sunday, mostly. We had to go to Sunday school at about 9 o'clock. That was over at about 10:30. There was a little break in between. I was the Sunday school secretary when I became a teenager. I had to go upstairs, read the minutes, let everybody know what was going on. And then 11 o'clock or around sometime after 11, then regular service started. Then we'd have the performance. I was in the choir. I'd get up there with the choir. And then I said performance because I'm talking about the choir performing. And then sometimes we'd have to go to evening service at a whole nother church. Our parents made us do it. We didn't want to. But guess what happened? Let me just tell you all how indoctrination works so good Because after years as a child who wanted to go outside and play on Sundays rather than just go and sit up in church because it was boring to me, well, I got to the point as I got to be a teenager, I had to go to church. I couldn't miss church. My mother no longer had to make me go. I wanted to go. I got up early, pressed my clothes and went. And even when I went out into the world and went off to college, I joined the gospel ensemble. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this. I'm not talking against any of this. This is all just to let you know how it made something that I hated to do become something that I couldn't stop doing, that I felt compelled to do, that I needed to go to church just as much as I felt the need to drink water and to eat food for years. When I moved to Atlanta, the first thing I did after moving here was find me a church home, New Birth Baptist Church. But in the early 2000s, that's when I started realizing some shady stuff going on around here. Started wondering, why are they all of a sudden, because this never happened to me when I was growing up in church. I never saw it happen to anyone. But when I started seeing, I'm sure they had shady stuff going on back then. I just wasn't privy to the information on it. But I started seeing that these pastors were collecting a whole lot of money multiple times throughout the service. And then also they had deacons assigned to people by their last names, because these mega churches have so many people, you can't keep up with them. So they had deacons assigned to people by their last names, okay? And then those deacons came to us and said, we need you to sign this, saying that you're going to pay 10% of your tithes, and we also need you to bring in your tax paperwork. And I'm like, why do you need my tax paperwork? And they said, oh, because we need to make sure that you're actually paying 10% of your tithes. So wait a minute, hold on. You can't take our word for it. We have to show you proof. They needed receipts. That's what I knew. Okay, something about this is not even right. Okay, I'm not bringing you my personal information with my social on it. I don't know who's up in this church and what they're doing, what they are willing to do or not do. And if y'all don't trust me, I don't trust you. That's how that works. Okay, so that's when I started realizing. Then I called my uncle and was talking to my Uncle Frankie about it, and I was telling him that I thought that was so strange and disrespectful. And my uncle said, girl, church has become a business. That's all it is. And that's all it is. That's all it is. Now, some of these churches are doing the right thing, but some of them are absolutely not. And let me just say that when I was attending New Birth, that's when Bishop Eddie Long was the pastor. Okay, now they have Pastor Jamal Bryant, whom I happen to like a lot better. I don't go to New Birth. I don't go to church. I'm not with religion now. I'm more into spirituality because I feel like religion is divisive. People have fought wars over religion. Okay. People have lost their lives over religion. And also, I just don't care to be a part of a religion that was forced on my ancestors. And I don't care how anyone wants to say that it has evolved. At the end of the day, the root of the matter came from slavery. Okay? So with that all being said, I'm out of here. They did those kids dirty and I didn't like it. And where were their parents? Were the parents of those girls there? I just have questions because what they wouldn't have been doing, okay, is talking to either of my sons like that. They wouldn't have been talking to my kids like that, baby. You might have done it if I wasn't there, but you wouldn't have done it again. Okay? That's what you wouldn't have done. Please miss me with it. D Major says Jamal Bryant is definitely better, but he has issues too. Well, we all have issues. That's the thing. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has issues. We all certainly do. Okay, I know I have some. And I know y'all do too, because that's why y'all are so darn nefarious. Okay, so with that all being said, and shout out to Pastor Jamal Bryant for that very successful boycott of Target that he organized. All right. So with that all being said, listen, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I love you all to life. Okay. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we go and thrive. Oh, and also, hold on, beloveds. Hold on for 1 second. Let me just put this link in the chat really quick. All right. If I can, let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on just a second. I need to put this link in the chat in case anybody wants to donate. Hold on. Now, don't feel obligated, but it would be nice. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get this up here. Okay, they just sent me this a few minutes ago. Okay, I'm sending it to my email. Somebody texted to me. Send it to my email so I can put it in the chat for you all. This is a link to a GoFundMe for my friend James R. Sander, who I told you all passed away. Okay, they're collecting money for his burial. Anything you could give, $1, whatever. Anything I'm sure will help his family. Okay. And there it is right there. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, I'm out of here. Listen, Byron B said, wasn't he on the show a while back? And Queen, speak for yourself. I'm perfect. Byron B, if you don't sit down somewhere, yeah, you are, Byron. You're perfectly nefarious, okay? In my opinion. But yes, he was on the show a couple of times when I was in New York at the Diddy trial. Okay, he was on the show with me a couple of times. I had him come on here and say what he thought about the trial and things like that or whatever. But James is somebody I absolutely love James. I talk to him every day, if not every day, every other day, and we talk for hours. Okay, he has so much good information. And he liked the information that I had too. He was just a very good person, very smart, talented. He had so much going for himself. And I'm just really, really going to miss him. And his birthday was just last Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving. He died right after his birthday, shortly after, just days later. So sad. Anyway, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got